Welcome to Liverpool fans. Today we've got the latest updates of your beloved club Liverpool. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started. Liverpool's immediate focus has shifted firmly onto damage limitation and opportunity as Arne Slot navigates one of the most testing periods of his early tenure at Anfield. What was expected to be a relatively calm phase of squad management has instead evolved into a situation demanding decisiveness, flexibility, and careful judgment as injuries and absences bite hard across key areas of the pitch. Slot's side have been stretched to their limits defensively, with circumstances conspiring to leave Liverpool alarmingly short of recognised centre-back options. Virgil van Dijk remains the undisputed leader at the back, while Ibrahima Konate is currently the only other senior central defender available for selection. Joe Gomez's absence through injury has removed a vital utility option, while summer signing Giovanni Leone's season-ending ACL injury has forced a rethink of long-term planning far sooner than anticipated. The situation has created an uncomfortable reliance on makeshift solutions and limited rotation, a dangerous position for a club competing on multiple fronts. That vulnerability has inevitably sharpened the spotlight on Liverpool's long-standing interest in Mark Guehi. The Crystal Palace captain has been on the club's radar for some time, and the sense of unfinished business from last summer lingers strongly. Liverpool came agonisingly close to securing his signature, having agreed a £35 million fee and even seeing the England international undergo a medical, only for the move to collapse at the final hurdle. The circumstances of that breakdown have only added to the feeling that the deal was postponed rather than abandoned. Guehi's contract situation adds further intrigue. With his deal set to expire at the end of the 2025-26 season and no intention from the player to sign an extension, Palace are walking a financial tightrope. Their head coach, Oliver Glasner, has offered little clarity, openly admitting that he does not know what the coming weeks will bring for his captain. His repeated insistence that he is unaware of developments surrounding Guehi's future has been interpreted as quiet confirmation that Palace are bracing themselves for possible movement. For Liverpool, that uncertainty represents opportunity, particularly given their current lack of depth and the urgency of reinforcing the heart of defence. While the back line remains a pressing concern, Liverpool's problems are not confined to one end of the pitch. Up front, Slot is grappling with a shortage of options that threatens to blunt the team's attacking edge. Mohamed Salah's involvement at the Africa Cup of Nations has removed one of the most reliable sources of goals and creativity in world football, while Alexander Isak's long-term injury has disrupted plans built around his dynamism and finishing. The combination has left Liverpool dangerously light in attacking areas, increasing the physical burden on those still available and limiting tactical flexibility. Against this backdrop of uncertainty, Liverpool have at least confirmed their first piece of business, albeit one that addresses the future rather than the present. James Norris has completed a permanent move to Shelbourne, bringing an end to a long association with his boyhood club. The 22-year-old defender joined Liverpool's academy at under-9 level and steadily progressed through the ranks, embodying the pathway the club prides itself on developing. Norris's early promise was evident when he made his senior debut at just 16 years old in a Carabao Cup quarter-final defeat away at Aston Villa in December 2019, becoming one of the youngest players ever to represent the club. His second and final first-team appearance came over 2 years later in an FA Cup victory against Shrewsbury Town, a brief cameo that nonetheless marked a milestone in his career. Despite those moments, opportunities at the highest level proved limited, and his loan spell in Ireland offered the chance for regular football and a fresh start. Liverpool's decision to allow Norris to move on permanently reflects a broader strategy of clearing pathways for younger talents, while ensuring players are placed in environments where they can develop and thrive. The club have wished him well publicly, acknowledging both his long service and the professionalism he displayed throughout his time at Anfield. Attention will now turn to other academy prospects who could follow similar paths in search of regular minutes. Names such as Trent Cone-Doherty, Reece Williams, Kieran Morrison and Calvin Ramsey are all being considered for potential moves, as Liverpool balance immediate needs with long-term development. For Slot, the coming weeks represent a defining period. The blend of injury crises, squad thinning, and unresolved transfer targets will test his ability to steady the ship while remaining competitive. Whether Liverpool decide to reignite their pursuit of Guehi or explore alternative defensive reinforcement, Eduardo Camavinga is once again at the centre of Liverpool transfer discussion as the January window opens, with reports claiming that contact has been made between the Reds and the Real Madrid midfielders' camp. The French international has long been admired at Anfield, viewed internally as one of the most complete midfielders of his generation, capable of operating as a defensive anchor, a box-to-box presence, or even as an inverted fullback when required. Despite the noise, the reality remains complex. Camavinga is settled in Madrid, highly valued by the coaching staff, and currently has no intention of forcing an exit midway through the season. Nevertheless, Liverpool maintaining constant contact reflects a long-term strategic interest rather than an expectation of an imminent breakthrough. From Liverpool's perspective, Camavinga represents the ideal profile for the next evolution of their midfield. Young, technically elite, tactically flexible, and battle-tested at the highest level, he fits the club's recruitment philosophy perfectly. However, the January window is rarely the stage for deals of this magnitude, especially when Real Madrid have no financial or sporting incentive to sell. As things stand, any suggestion of Camavinga arriving at Anfield this month feels aspirational rather than realistic, though Liverpool's continued engagement ensures they remain well positioned should circumstances ever change. While the Camavinga links capture imagination, Liverpool's more immediate focus appears to be elsewhere, particularly in defence. Reports suggest that the club is closing in on its first signing of the January window, with Club Brugge centre-back Joel Ordonez emerging as a leading candidate. Negotiations are said to have intensified, with confidence growing behind the scenes that a deal can be completed. Ordonez is viewed as a calculated move rather than a headline-grabbing one, a young defender with the physical attributes and composure to adapt to the Premier League over time. At just 20 years old, Ordonez has impressed scouts with his aerial strength, calmness in possession, and positional awareness. Liverpool see him as someone who could initially provide depth behind Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate, while gradually developing into a more prominent role. The financial structure of the deal is also appealing, with reports suggesting his salary would rise significantly compared to his current terms in Belgium, yet still remain well within Liverpool's wage framework. Inter Milan are believed to be the only serious rival still in the race, with Chelsea having cooled their interest, making Liverpool cautiously optimistic. The urgency around defensive recruitment has been heightened by injuries and uncertainty. Joe Gomez's absence has reduced flexibility across the back line, while the broader contract landscape has added another layer of complexity. With several centre-backs across Europe approaching the final months of their deals, Liverpool are keen to avoid being caught short or forced into reactive decisions later in the season. Securing Ordonez now would offer immediate cover and long-term security, aligning with the club's preference for proactive planning. Injuries elsewhere in the squad have also influenced Liverpool's January thinking. Alexander Isak's long-term ankle injury has significantly reduced attacking options, while Cody Gakpo's muscle issue has further tested depth. Mohamed Salah's absence due to international duty at the Africa Cup of Nations has compounded the issue, leaving Arne Slot stretched at a critical point in the campaign. Although Liverpool invested heavily in the summer, the cumulative effect of these setbacks has reopened the door to winter reinforcements. Despite these challenges, Liverpool are determined not to abandon their disciplined approach. The club's hierarchy remain cautious about January spending, aware that short-term fixes often come at inflated prices. This is why players like Ordonez are appealing, young enough to develop, affordable enough to justify, and capable of contributing without being